Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
And welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to mute your mic if Alejandro has just gone all echoey. But
sound like dial-up internet in the background.
yeah. Yeah, you can. That's all throwing me off now. Welcome to Rankum.
William Scott, yay.
And yeah, we got Richie here. Richie, how's it going?
Yeah, it is going good. Yeah, I mean, I was just lamenting off air that I pulled something on my shoulder. I'm getting to that age where sleep is dangerous. So that is annoying. But look, I'm here. I'm here to talk about Sean William Scott. He's so cool. He's got three first names. So that's kind of good. Trying to make a bit of a comeback. So that's kind of cool. So no, it should be fun.
Also, you've got JPO. JPO, how's it going?
Oh, just wonderful. Happy to be right back here on Rankum talking Sean William Scott. Been a fan pretty early. Don't know where he fell off. I also don't know why I'm doing this voice, but sometimes you just can't quite explain the things you do. So thanks for having me.
Also, here we've got Jordan. Jordan, how's it going?
You just asked me, but fine. I'm also still doing
it. Well, I feel like we've been transported back to the 1920s. See, going great. I'm looking forward to it because I always feel like I get asked to do these like obscure kind of like Sean William Scott. He's cool, but he's kind of a little obscure. But it's fun though. I actually like that because I can like brush up on people maybe I'm not so familiar with, but actually, surprisingly, I've seen most of his movies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
And last but not least, we got Alejandro. Alejandro, how's it going?
I apologize for the audio issues. Just for a second. I don't know how bad it's going to be throughout the thing. I'll try to mute my mic on and off as I can, but I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't know I had seen so many Sean William Scott movies because I was like, can I even name 12 of them? And as it turns out, I absolutely can. So I've managed to put a list together, and we'll see how well that goes. I think I would be very surprised if anybody's list differs from mine. Let me put it like that.
Talking off air, I already disagree with Richie.
I mean, I wouldn't really say Sean William Scott's really obscure. It's just more he's just hasn't really done a lot of big things. And apparently he's the most sellable star of the American Pie movies, but they wouldn't put him in the straight-to-video movies. So,
well, originally they probably couldn't afford him. Now I don't know about now, but like, there's a reason.
I mean, if they need the. As I said on Facebook, I still think it's weird they chose to go for the Stifler route if they wouldn't even try, if they were trying to try and get him as a cameo.
There was probably maybe the next one. Maybe the next one he'll do, and then.
Yeah.
So the one that pops up is what, Jim's dad, I think, is in him?
Yeah.
I think in Bandcamp, the Shermanator appears in Bandcamp as well.
Wait, fucking like Chris Owen or whatever?
Yeah. The guy, I think he works at a restaurant now.
I mean, like the main dudes.
Yeah. And the guy from was it Revenge of the Nerds? Is he in that one? I think he's in that
one. But anyway, how Rankum goes, you're going to go around and nominate a movie you think belongs on a top 12 list, and then we'll go to say yes or no to if it should make the list, and then at the end we'll rank them. But Richie, what is the first movie you're going to bring up?
I mean, there are obvious ones, but I don't know. I might go with one that, kind of a favorite from a franchise. It was in your graphic. Part of them is. I'll go Final Destination. where he gets his head chopped off. Yeah, I think Final Destination is still. I would say my second favorite Final Destination movie, and he's really good in it. And yeah, it's sort of his. Well, probably the first thing I saw outside of him do, I saw him do outside of like American Pie. So yeah, he's really good in it, and so yeah. Apart from going for the very obvious, obviously, but I'll go Final Destination first. So there you go, Final Destination.
JPO, what do you say about Final Destination?
I mean, yeah, hell yeah. This is definitely a big yes for me. This might have been my introduction, I think, to Sean William Scott. And yeah, it's a great shocking kill and a great movie with a great premise, too, that we're still getting sequels to this day. Yeah, I think it was the first movie I ever saw him in because my parents would let me watch American Pie because they're like, no, it's a naughty movie. And I was like, how about this movie where a lot of people get murdered? And they were like, yeah, whatever. So, big yes.
But Jordan, what do you say about Final Destination?
Yeah, the Final Destination movies are great. They're a lot of fun. The first one, the most recognizable person for me was Sean William Scott in it, and yeah, it kind of was like hoping he was maybe going to be in some sequels, but that doesn't happen because have you seen the movie? But yeah, so but yeah, the movie is a lot of fun. So, and Sean William Scott is the main part I recognized when I first saw it. So yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about Final Destination?
I have to disagree with Richie. I feel like this one's one of the obvious ones because it is really the only horror movie that Sean William Scott has ever done, and it did kick off a franchise. Granted, I don't think they got better after the second one, but they keep making them because they're really fun to watch. Even the first movie is kind of goofy, the way the kills kind of work like breakfast machines almost. It's like the Naked Gun thing, like from action, all the dominoes have to fall in order for the scene to work. And I do think Sean William Scott is actually really great in the movie. So yeah, I would absolutely say yes to this one.
I mean, it's obvious. That's what I was saying. Obvious is yeah. But anyway, and the fifth one is great. Sorry, fifth one is me. Anyway, go.
And I would have easily gone use some Final Destination. I think it's great. And the only reason I use that graphic, I tried looking for a different one, but that's the only one that would download and put their used in Photoshop. So I was like, it's good. I'm going to do it. But Final Destination does make this list. And yeah, technically he is also in 5, but there's only archive footage. Which,
anyone that would have tried to say that, I would have kicked you in the dick.
I already sort of ruled it out in the chat anyway.
I know, but I'm saying even if it was anyone, I'm just saying if someone has suggested, like, come on, archive footage.
But JPO, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
A little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning, a little thunder, a little lightning. The Rundown, man. I still think this is I think it's Sean William Scott's best movie. I think it's still one of The Rock's best movies. This thing is so much fun. The action's there, the comedy's there, the characters there. These two have a lot of fun together. Southland Tales doesn't count. I want them to make another movie. Rundown. Yeah, I don't have words today. Yes, everyone say yes. I'll fight you. All right. Thank you.
But Jordan, what do you say about?
I could have met Ernie Reyes Jr. today. He's in town. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jordan, what do you say about the Rundown?
I say that I have met Ernie Reyes Jr. and he's signed my copy of Surf Ninja. No, I have it signed by both him and Rob Schneider. So, yeah, The Rundown's great. This is a movie that I saw 3 times in theaters because I had one of my best friends wanted to go see it again, and then I found someone who hadn't seen it, and so we ended up seeing it 3 times. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Christopher Walken is a fun villain in it. And also I shot it again, Ernie Reyes Jr. And yeah, I second everything JPO said. I mean, The Rock and Sean William Scott, it's like probably some of their best movies. So or one of their best movies. So, yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about The Rundown?
I do say that The Rundown makes the list 100%. I don't agree that it's Sean William Scott's best movie, but The Rock and Sean William Scott play off each other beautifully, and this movie is actually a really fun adventure movie, if nothing else. The comedy is really good, the action is really good, it's shot really pleasing to the eye. Yeah, absolutely would put this movie on the list.
Yeah. I don't know. I've not heard of this movie called The One Down with The Rock and Sean William Scott. I've heard of Welcome to the Jungle. I've heard of Welcome to the Jungle starring The Rock and Sean William Scott. But regardless, look, I haven't seen this movie in ages. I was actually going to rewatch it this week, but just didn't get around to it. But I do remember liking it enough to say yes to it. So, yeah. Richie, what do you say about Welcome to the Jungle, aka The Rundown?
You look like a little birdie up there. I've been really watching this. I've got about half an hour left. It's a lot of fun. Fun little blink and you miss it Arnie cameo. Have fun in there. It's a lot of fun. Rosario Dawson there too. It's just that they have great chemistry. I wish they kind of Rock and Thomas Scott did more movies in this sort of genre. They did a couple other ones, but one me and JP will disagree on. The other one I don't even recognize it being The Rock. Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. Yes.
It does make the list, and we go over to Jordan. What is the movie you're going to bring up?
So I'll start with the guilty pleasure one. About that one that I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me, but I have fun with this, and just for as small of a filmography that he has, I think that it has potential to make the top 12. If he had a larger filmography, maybe I wouldn't, but I'm going to go with Dude, Where's My Car? So because. Also, I just took an edible about an hour ago for Moose's show, so that might be a little part of it. So, I think that it's a lot of fun. I think that it's funny. I think that like they go on this journey across town in it. And I've actually had someone do the and then, but it was the like person in the drive-thru just like shouting it out over and over and over to me, and I understand his frustration in the movie, but there's some funny lines like when the model gets really big or the alien chick or whatever, Daddy, I want to ride on that ride. So do I, son. So do I. Like, it's cheesy humor, but I think that it's fun. So I'll nominate Dude, Where's My Car?
Alejandro, what do you say about Dude, Where's My Car?
I honestly don't know why this movie wouldn't come up. Like, I would argue, I don't think it is, but I would argue that this is Sean William Scott's best movie. There's an argument to be made because this was the standard for a comedy for a long time after it came out. Like, every time a comedy was released, it was like from Dude, Where's My Car, from the producers of Dude, Where's My Car, from one of the writers, from one of the cameos from Dude, Where's My Car. It was such a phenomenon when it happened, and it is kind of like PG style humor because like they don't actually smoke weed, but they call them stoners throughout the movie. They don't ever say the words like boobs or tits. They call them hoo-hoos. Like, it's stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, if you watch a regular show, it's just Dude, Where's My Car? And I think there's an argument to be made. This movie is one of the greatest comedies of all time, at least revolutionary style. So, Dude, Where's My Car? Absolutely.
Look, I can't stand this movie. Look, I rewatched it for this just to see if I had a new appreciation for the movie. There's no comedy in it. It's not funny. It's boring. It's like random. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a hell no for me. Richie, what do you say about Dude, Where's My Car?
I mean, I don't think it's one of the best comedies of all time, but that's you like what you like. That's cool. But I do have fun with the movie though, and I think him and Ashton Kutcher have good chemistry. I like the yeah, I think there's enough nerdy fun to be had here, especially with the and Jennifer Garner being in it, and yeah, yeah. I think there's a I think there's a bad it's good quality to it as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll say yes, but I'm not gonna maybe when it comes to ranking, I might not vote for it high, but yeah, I'll say yes.
JPO, what do you say about Dojo's My Car?
Yeah, I'm more with Richie. I'm in the middle here. No, there's a lot of fun to be had here, Malcolm. I enjoyed it. I definitely have recently been like, and then, but definitely not as high as Alejandro. I just double checked the writing credits just to see Casey wrote it. But no, it's fun. It deserves to be on this list. Yeah, I'm gonna go yes. And I don't know about it being PG either. You know who does get high? The dog. So it's still definitely PG-13. I'm just saying, I don't know if I show my 8-year-old look at this dog getting high as shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, Alejandro, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
This is about how I expected this to go. And just to get it out of the way, Dude, Where's My Car is number 1 on my list. But I do think that Sean William Scott's best performance in a movie ever was actually a movie that I don't think a whole lot of people saw. Bulletproof Monk. This movie is surprisingly good. The action's great. The comedy lands pretty well. The whole Thunder and Lightning thing came from this movie. It started here. Sean William Scott took this role incredibly seriously. He got in crazy good shape. It was kind of like the way Tobey Maguire did Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie. He just trained and got in the best shape of his life and wanted to be able to hang with Chow Yun-fat. I think that's the one who was in that one. But yeah, Bulletproof Monk is a lot more fun than I think anyone would ever give it credit for, and I think it belongs on the list.
Yeah, I haven't seen Bulletproof Monk. I mean, this is one that I looked up his list. Is there any movies that I haven't seen that I probably should check out? I shrugged this off as something and thought, oh yeah, I could probably miss it. I don't know if it'll come up. I was wrong, but I'll probably get around to seeing it at some stage. But Richie, what do you say about Bulletproof Monk?
Yeah, I probably this. I like it enough. It's pretty good. I think that. I think the critics are a bit too harsh on it when it came out. I think it's fine. I think it's really I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. So again, I'm a bit mid. It's sort of mid for me, but I think in terms of his filmography, I think it probably deserves to be on this list. So I'll say yes.
JPO, what do you say about Bulletproof Monk?
No, definitely a yes for me, man. This is another fun one. I enjoyed it when it came out. Unfortunately, it may explain why he's not a bigger star because it did kind of bomb. It only made 37 out of its $50-something million budget. You know what I mean? So this might have halted him a little bit. But it's a fun movie, man. Nice chemistry between him and Chow Yun-fat. And another one that kind of has some fun action scenes. He's likable in it, so definitely belongs on here. Yeah.
Jordan, what do you say about Bulletproof Monk?
Well, Malcolm, you're not the only one that's surprised that it came up. I didn't think it was going to come up either because I think this movie's kind of bad. It's kind of terrible to me. It's just, I don't know. It's not the worst movie ever made. But a fun fact, even though I say that, when I was a little kid, at the video store, they gave me a free poster, and it was Bulletproof Monk, so I put it on my ceiling as a kid. So I actually had that poster hanging. Yeah, but it's just, I don't know.
This is not 12?
No, it's not. No,
Damn.
and Chow Yun-fat just kind of looked like he's annoyed with Sean William Scott the whole time. Get away from me. Leave me alone.
He is annoyed.
F off. I don't know. It just doesn't play that great to me. So yeah, I'll say no.
But it's still going to make the list. It's on
crazy.
It's on to me.
Don't do it, Malcolm.
Oh yeah. No.
Don't do it.
No. Bad.
Don't do it.
Bad Malcolm.
You know what? Jordan brought up a Guilty Pleasure. I'm going to bring up a Guilty Pleasure too. I'm bringing up movie 43.
He did it. He did it. I said, don't do it. He did it.
Look, say what you want about the movie. like it's a fun bad movie. And I honestly I think Sean William Scott's segment is probably is definitely out there as one of the best segments in there personally, and I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'm going to bring it up. I think I know where this is going, but let's see what happens. Richie, what to say about movie 43?
I am a defender of this movie, and I rewatched this segment recently.
Me too, actually.
Because I watched it on JPO's stream.
Shit, did I bring it up? Fuck.
No. I think Austin brought it up, and we watched afterwards. And yeah, it's fun. Although I would say Gerard Butler is probably the best part of that aforementioned scene. But so, like I would honestly the argument would be made that like because it's just sort of it's basically a sketch drawn out into a movie that he's not in it a lot, but like I don't know, it is a highlight for lack of a better term. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I'm gonna say yes.
Son of a bitch.
JPO, what do you say about movie 43?
I don't have it that low on the list, but I don't have it in my 12. Richie said how I feel. He might be in the best skit, but he's not the best part even of his own skit. That's one, the one skit. So I'm gonna say no.
Jordan, what do you say about movie 43?
Yeah, I can't stand movie 43. I think it's terrible. I think the humor sucked. I think it's just stupid. They put all these A-list actors, and they're not even funny. They can't even get them to do anything worthwhile in this dumb thing. So, yeah, and I haven't even seen it all the way through. I watched it halfway through, and I immediately turned it off. Regretted my life choices. I wanted to burn my DVD that I had. So yeah, no, thank you. No,
I wanted to burn myself.
Yeah.
Which
Wanna
means
slip my wrist after
falls
that?
on you. What do you say about movie 43?
I haven't seen the movie.
Hey, Justice.
No.
But hearing everybody talk
You don't
about
need
it,
to.
like I can't. All right. Here's the thing. Like I said, I haven't seen all of Sean William Scott's movies, but I have seen at least 12, so it's not on my list. I'm not gonna. I can't go with it justifiably, just simply because I don't have an opinion of it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
That's
I didn't think it was going to make the list. I just wanted to bring it up because I know that someone would have said in the comments, "I wonder if Malcolm's going to be movie 43."
Yeah, right.
Get out of the way. Richie, what's the next thing you're going to bring up?
You know what I had for breakfast? Cocaine. You know what I had for lunch? Cocaine. You know for dinner? Was it cocaine? Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go role models. Role models is fucking great. I love role models. It's great. It's I the chemistry between Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd is great. And then I think it's a great movie. And yeah, I love Dan Lynch in this. And I watch it all the time. And I just think it's just a great comedy. I think I know what Malcolm thinks of it, so don't count on his yes. But no, I think this is role models he doesn't like. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I love role models, so yeah, that's where my nomination is. So yeah, role models.
JPO, what do you say about role models?
Yeah, for sure. This is a fun one. Him and Rudd have a lot of fun here. LARPing. I even became a LARPer for a little while after this. That's a fun fact. So yeah, I like this movie. It's very easy, good little fun watch. And for again, Sean William Scott definitely belongs on this list.
Jordan, what do you say about role models?
Yeah, role models is freaking great. I love role models. I'm a big Jane Lynch fan in particular, but I mean, yeah, like just having Sean William with Paul Rudd and it's a fun time. So yeah, and yeah, I will say an easy yes to it. So.
Alejandro, what do you say about role models?
I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree with you guys. It's kind of been alluded to already that Sean William Scott works best with other people, like as a duo. That's kind of where that guy lives. And acting against Paul Rudd, I think that's the ultimate reason why it's not his best performance, because Paul Rudd's going to be good in anything, and but I don't think it's a bad performance from Sean William Scott, and I think it's a great movie. So yeah, absolutely put Role Models on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Role Models. I haven't seen it in a while, though. Once again, another one that I probably would have rewatched had I not committed myself to just rewatching the all the American Pie movies, because why not? When you do something, you got to do it completely or not at all. So I thought, well, so I'm going to be watching American Pie anyway. I might as well watch the straight-to-video sequels because they're part of the franchise.
William Scott's not in it. So.
You hate your life.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, if you're going to rewatch something, rewatch them all or don't rewatch.
Did you watch the one with all the newer one with all the chicks in it?
I didn't. That's the only one I didn't get around to, just because I don't own that one on DVD.
There's a newer one that came out recently.
Yeah, it's called Girls' Rules. It's about Stephanie Stifler or something like that.
Yeah, and it's got one of the girls is like the girl from Game Plan, and that's weird.
And he's got siblings coming out of the woodwork. Stifler.
Although something I actually realised when I was watching, I was thinking it was Book of Love, but that's got James Gunn's wife in it, Jennifer Holland, and Caroline from Two Broke Girls. That was both their first movies.
Okay.
Yeah. But that being said, Role Models still ended up in the top part of my personal Sean William Scott list. So I was still going to say yes to it. So,
okay, cool. I was worried.
Nice.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those ones like when it comes to Sean William Scott, there's a lot of stuff that I kind of like that will have about 3 stars. I think Role Models around that. A lot of the other ones is a lot of the Ice Age sequels and Do Just My Car. But JPO, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Alrighty, hopefully people have seen this because I think it's a great flick. I'm going for Goon, his hockey flick that he made. Great writers too, if you look it up. Evan Goldberg, who does a bunch of shit with Seth Rogen. Jay Baruchel wrote this. Baruchel's in it as well. Just a good, he's a relatively good-hearted dude who finds out he has a really good knack of fighting and also taking a punch, and so then he gets drafted like a hockey team. Great arc with him and Liev Schreiber that it kind of takes turns that you don't necessarily see coming here, and I think he's kind of perfectly casted here. He's not overly showy like Stifler. He's a much more kind of taken back guy, but he's very, very good in it. And I think Goon definitely belongs there.
Jordan, what do you say about Goon?
Yeah, Goon I have as number 2 movie on my list. This movie is awesome. It's a lot of fun, a great hockey movie. Also speaking of the American Pie movie, it also has Eugene Levy in this movie. He's in it. So, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's got some heart to it, and so it's an easy yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about Goon?
I haven't seen the movie. Sorry, JPO, man. I'm sure it's a good movie. This one and Balls Out, I think, was the other sports movie that he did. That looked pretty much the same, so I skipped both of them.
No, I gotta interrupt and yell at Balls Out is like a really shitty, hey, look at his ass and fucking kicking balls. I'm not a well-written, made movie. I'm
not advocating for it. I'm saying I didn't see it.
Exactly.
I was only going by you said it looked like the same thing, and I was like, fuck no.
Have you seen the cover of both of these movies? They're the same.
But so you are literally judging a book by its cover. And you've not heard of that.
For Sean William Scott, I feel like that's fair. But the answer, of course, is going to be no. I don't have a frame of reference for this movie. The same thing with movie 43. I can't justify saying yes, but I don't have another option. So.
I also don't know what covers you looked at, because Balls Out is literally balls, tennis balls, a hot chick, and him with the tennis racket, and Goon's usually just his face all bloodied. But you saw a different poster.
Yeah.
But anyway,
please tell me you've seen it, Malcolm.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Man, that awkward pause there for a bit. There, I was like, how do I know?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the first one. I haven't actually seen the sequel.
Also good.
But once again, another one that I was going to rewatch was I've seen it once, and I really wasn't a big fan of it personally. So I'm going to give it a slight no. But
It's not in your
Aw.
12?
Come
what
on.
the fuck, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Fucking high.
Ray.
Richie, save this.
Yeah. Like this was
Brad
close.
balls out in his 12.
This was
He's
close
admitted
to my.
it,
This was close to the top for me. It's been here number one. Goon
Yeah,
is great.
number 2.
I was tossing up between this or
I
Roma
too.
to nominate. So yeah, I'm glad you got it. So yeah, Goon is.
Get us back on track, Richie.
This is like if Happy Gilmore didn't discover golf.
I meant to say
Yeah.
this is a darker, R-rated Happy Gilmore, right?
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, this is great. Yeah, it's got a lot of heart to it, and I kind of I think it needs to be. I mean, I think it's got cult status at this point, but yeah, I wish more people would have seen it. Alejandro, after the stream, go watch Goon.
Yeah.
Why? What do you mean? Why no? You just had 3 people say it's their second favorite movie of his.
Yeah.
But anyway, Goon is going to make the list, and we go over back
I
to
think you went to meet yourself, but you still muted.
Here's what I'll say because I have to talk about it next week. I think it's on par with the first movie.
Wait, what? You said you didn't see it.
No, I saw the Spider-Man movie today,
Oh.
this morning.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I saw the Spider-Man movie today. It's on par with the first movie.
Okay. Did anyone
let's
ask
go
him
with
that
Jim,
though?
though.
I'm lost.
No.
Yeah, what?
That kind of random.
No one asked you about Spider-Man. What the fuck just happened? I said go. We said go see Goon. Goon.
Anyway,
No, I'm fighting Alejandro.
Yeah. Take it
JPO,
outside.
this is not movie battleground. Don't confuse.
Yeah.
Promise you award me the point.
For the record, I had a buffer on my list for this reason.
But Jordan, what is your next nomination?
So let's just go with it. It's the one that he's known for. So let's go with American Pie. I'm gonna go with the original because I think it's the best one. And yeah, this is where we get introduced to everybody, and the whole thing with Stifler's mom and Sean William Scott kind of brings like the party, you could say. I guess he's like the party guy and like the probably one of the funniest ones in this thing. And yeah, these movies were huge when I was in high school. Like everybody was quoting these movies and talking about them. So yeah, I'll go with American Pie.
Alejandro, what do you say about the first American Pie?
The first American Pie is a hard no for me. I wanted to put an American Pie movie on here, and I did settle on one. But the first movie is definitely low tier. Like it's the 3rd or 4th best movie at best in the franchise specifically. So for that reason, I think the option that I have on my list is a little bit stronger. I don't think American Pie is the best Sean William Scott movie.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, the first American Pie is actually my second favorite American Pie. I mean, there's a good chance we could have multiple American Pies on this list. But I'm still going to say yes to the first American Pie. I think it's still really good, and I think Sean Scott is good in all of them. But Richie, what do you say about the first American Pie?
I'm actually going to say no because he's not as in it as much as the other ones. I don't feel like he doesn't really kind of make his presence known to the other one. Like that there's other American Pie ones where I'm like, okay, he definitely has more of a presence. He has more of an arc. When I think of American Pie, when I think of Stifler and Sean William Scott, I don't think of the first movie. Like he's like when you go through when you see the credits in the movie, he's like built right towards the end. Like he doesn't show up. Like he's like I think he like. Yeah, I don't think his presence is really that known. He's just sort of there. And he doesn't. His character's not fleshed out until the sequel. So I'm going to say no.
JPO, what do you say about the first American Pie?
I'm gonna say yes. I understand what Richie's saying. At the same time, I'm going. If it's allowed, then it's allowed. So I'm not too sticklerish on whether or not he is the biggest, because you are right, he's like the last like young kid in the cast. But I think he shined. That's why he got bigger parts later on. And I think as far as movies itself too, I do think this is one of the stronger ones. So I will say yes.
But that American Pie does make this list. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, like when it comes to ensemble movies, like he's definitely one of the main characters, even though he doesn't, especially by the first one, he's on in it. But
Alejandro, he's like Urkel. Later on, it becomes a Stifler show.
Yeah, right.
But Alejandro, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
I also allowed for a buffer for the American Pie franchise for that reason. I figured it was going to be one of two movies. This one was not one of them, but for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of the American Pie franchise, go to something sort of one-off and kind of obscure. I don't know if anybody saw this movie either. Evolution with David Duchovny. That movie is it's like a cartoon. It's almost a superhero origin story. And if you look back, because it did become a sort of franchise, kind of underground. Like it had a TV show with action figures and so forth. Aired on Fox Kids. Don't believe me? Google that shit. It all stemmed from this movie, which actually took 3 or 4 years to make because the original writer wanted it to be a horror movie like Alien and The Thing. But the comedy aspect is actually one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I think the effects even today are pretty stellar. And not just like the costumes, the Muppet design and stuff like that. The CG is actually very entertaining. I think all the characters play off each other well, and I think Sean William Scott, like caw, that's also in this movie. So I think it's peak Sean William Scott entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually watched Evolution for this. This is another one that it was actually a rewatch. This is another one that I watched sort of a long time ago, just wasn't that high on, but I actually did really enjoy it on this rewatch. I think it was a lot of fun, and I didn't even know about the TV show until this very moment, but it exists. I looked it up. It definitely was a thing. But yeah, Evolution is a lot of fun, and I actually do like Sean William Scott's character in this, so I'm going to say yes. Richie, what do you say about Evolution?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I remember liking it all right, but it didn't really stick with me. It's hard because, yeah, I guess Wrestling Tie and JP. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but at one point in this movie, it has Drop the Bombshell, the Dudley Boys theme. So the Powerman 5000 song. But
say no. Listen to your heart. Say no.
I'm gonna go give it a slight no.
JPO, what do you say about Evolution?
Yeah, I was hyped for this when it first came out because I like these 4. It came out when I was like 11, 12. I didn't dig it too much then. I don't know if I've seen it from start to beginning since. I think I've kind of tried here and there, but it's outside of the bubble for me, so I'm going to have to say no just a little bit as well.
Jordan, what do you say about Evolution?
Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of it. I mean, the one with Orlando Jones and like Ethan Suplee and stuff, I'm just kind of like, oh, it's fine. It's like I think Slither, like maybe I did it like more of a horror movie of like people going around hunting these aliens and stuff. I think that's comparable at least, but way better. And this one, yeah, I just don't care that much about it, so I gotta say no.
But if that Evolution doesn't make the list, I guess you could say Evolution is a mystery.
And I saw the comment pop up. Head and Shoulders kills the aliens. Hell yeah, it does. It's hilarious and entertaining. Also, I want to go ahead and apologize really quickly because it's about that time of day. I only have natural lighting in this room. I might become a disembodied voice.
No, you're good.
All right.
I mean, it happens to be sometimes when I'm doing shows that go to late nights over here, but but that being, I've not done for my next one. Got a few options here. I'm going to go for this one just because it's another one of his movies is probably a main character in. I think it's one of the last ones I've got on my list that he is one. I don't know how this is going to go, but it's another good pleasure of mine. But I actually really enjoyed Dukes of Hazzard. I think Sean William Scott is a lot of fun in this movie, and it's one of those ones like I want to say it's Luke Wilson is the other guy.
No.
It's Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville. Yeah.
I knew it was. I knew it was one of them, but yeah. I think
one of the male actors that works in Hollywood.
Yeah, right.
but I mean, it's one of those ones like, but this was a lot of fun. And I know the director of this is one of the Broken Lizard peoples, but
it's probably Jay Chandrasekhar.
But that's the one. I wasn't going to even try to pronounce his name.
Yeah. I feel like I was pretty close because I've heard it say it.
Jay Chandra something. Yeah.
Chandrasekhar. Now I can't say it.
But yeah, I mean, I think the movie itself was a really good sort of take on the TV show, and I think it was a lot of fun. And just getting like Willie Nelson, who was like actually in the movie as Uncle Jesse, and Burt Reynolds was just great as Boss Hogg. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. I don't know where this is going to go, but Richie, what do you say about Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, I mean, one of the really big thing I remember about this movie is I remember the song for the movie, the cover of Boots Are Made for Walking by Jessica Simpson, that hot video, the very hot video clip is about it. But no, I do remember maybe it's not great, but it does have guilty pleasure vibes to it. So I do enjoy it more than like Evolution we said no to, because I think I can have more fun with this. If I came to ranking, it'd probably be on the lower, but I'll give it a slight yes.
Oh, JPO, what do you say about Dukes of Hazzard?
No, I actually never even saw this one. I didn't have interest. 4 of my friends on Letterboxd have it under 2 stars, so 1.5. I never intrigued me, so no.
Jordan, what do you say about Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, I have this ranked pretty low on my list. I'm just not a big fan. I'm a big Johnny Knoxville fan, but this is just one I just don't really go back to. And like, I'd honestly rather watch even the TV show. I'd rather watch Evolution over this, honestly. Like, that's like truth. So yeah, I mean, Jessica Simpson's like smoking hot in this to look at, but that's about it for me. So I'll say no.
Alejandro, what would you have said about Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, I absolutely had Dukes of Hazzard on my list, and it is not as good as Evolution, 100%. I had Evolution at number 6. I had Dukes of Hazzard at
a bold statement right there.
It's a great movie. It's an ultimately fun time. I think Willie Nelson in the movie. By the way, Malcolm. Side note: top 12 country musicians in film. Like that could arguably be number 2. I think Chris Christopherson and Blade is better. But either way, JPO is going to get mad at me for not watching Goon. He haven't seen Dukes of Hazzard. What?
Yeah.
But yes, I think Dukes of Hazzard is an ultimately fun time, and I would watch it right now if I had the opportunity.
I think not seeing Goon is the bigger sin.
I don't know. I think some people might say Tom Waits is the greatest country music singer in music.
Yeah, he actually is. His segment in Ballad of Buster Scruggs is great. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
But Richie, what is the next movie you're going to bring out?
Go.
Someone
Before I
said
go
Judo.
the Slim Power route, I'll go this route. I'll go this route. Just I like this movie. I don't know how many people like this movie, but I think it's fun. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, Mr. Woodcock. I enjoy this movie. Oh yeah, I see Jordan's face. Yeah. I like I think the chemistry between Billy Bob Thornton and Sean Scott's there. It's another movie with Ethan Suplee in it. And
Sean William Scott.
Yeah. I think, and I just think I just have fun with it. It's a great movie. No, would it be high on my rankings when we go to it? No, but I have fun with it. I think it's got a sort of guilty pleasure vibe. So I will punt. I'll shoot my shot for Mr. Woodcock. There you go.
Big JPO, what do you say about Mr. Woodcock?
No. All right, I'll be right back. I'll come back in time for my turn.
Jordan, what do you say about Mr. Woodcock?
Yeah, this movie is like really low on my list. Honestly, I have it ranked lower than movie 43. Like that's how bad.
Oh, okay.
This movie sucks. Like it. Like, I went to go see it because I'm the Napoleon Dynamite guy. So isn't it like John Heater in it or something? And like it's just him being the kind of goody two shoes guy, and then Billy Bob Thornton just saying "fuck, shit, damn," like son of a bitch, like cussing every other word, and I'm just like it just wasn't funny to me. I thought it was terrible. I was with some people that were like begging me to walk out of the movie, but we somehow stayed for it all. So yeah, it's a no for me.
Alejandro, what do you say about Mr. Woodcock?
Yeah, I got Mr. Woodcock on my list for everything that Richie said. Like Billy Bob Thornton, Susan Sarandon are fun to watch together, and Sean William Scott and Billy Bob Thornton are fun to watch be at each other's throats. I do think it is low tier, but it is on the list. So yeah, absolutely.
Come on, Malcolm.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
Do the right thing. Okay.
So unfortunately, Mr. Woodcock's not going to make the list. JPO is next, but he's not back yet. So what I'll do is I'll go to Jordan first, then I'll go bounce back to JPO if he's back in time. But Jordan, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go with one that I think is kind of underrated. That I mean, in some circles they talk about this, but I think in the overall general community not as much. But I want to go with Road Trip. So I think this movie is a lot of fun. I mean, it's exactly what you get. You get like a cool road trip comedy. Tom Green's pretty funny in it. It's back when they made DJ Qualls a thing, and I actually kind of liked him back then. And then throwing in Breckin Meyer, he's always great too. And yeah, there's some really funny stuff like just like some of the country hillbilly things that they run into along this trip, because I think it's like he's going down to a college, to like the Ithaca one, to meet his girl. But so a road trip.
Alejandro, what do you say about Road Trip?
Road Trip is another one of those fun movies, but I think it had the misfortune of being exactly like every other movie that was coming out at the time. Like DJ Quall has better movies. What was it? Breckin Meyer has better movies. Sean William Scott has better movies, so I didn't put Road Trip on my list. So that's a no from me.
Yeah.
I enjoy Road Trip. I think it's a good movie. And it just kind of squeaks in for me, so I'm going to say yes to Road Trip. Richie, what do you say about Road Trip?
See, I get that. Sean William Scott does have a decent part in it, but I think I do forget sometimes he's in it because I consider it more of a Tom Green vehicle. But yeah, he does have a decent part in it, and I did like it when I was it came out at the right time when I was a teenager, and I like these kind of movies that you're gonna be refreshed when I say this, Alejandro. I agree with you that these movies sort of do kind of around this time, these movies do roll
They
into
get
one
lost. They get jumbled.
they do roll into one another, but I did enjoy it at the time. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm worried about watching it now. I probably hate, but I don't know. I would give it a look. It'd probably be on my lower tier, but I'll just give it a slight yes.
And it's another Breckin Myers, Amy Smart movie where they're in it together because the other one's Rat Race.
Yeah.
Better movie.
Yeah, I was just looking at Breckin Meyer's filmography. I'd argue that Road Trip is probably his second best movie because Rat Race I'd argue is his best movie, but he's not.
Changeland's better. That Freddy movie. No, that Freddy movie's not better.
But anyway, JPO, what do you say about Road Trip?
Just real quick, because I had to go enter the door. Did the last thing they were talking? Did Woodcock make it?
No.
No,
Did not make it.
About,
I hate that movie.
Duke still did though, right?
Nope.
Dukes of Hazzard didn't make it either.
It didn't make it. Okay, good. Okay, I thought it did for some
No,
reason.
but I'll just tell you, I have movie 43 rated higher than Woodcock. That's how much I hate that movie. So.
And we're talking Road Trip. Now, this one's a slide note for me as well. It's also got the fundamental flaw that like Breckin Meyer did cheat, so like you gotta not want him to win. So I don't know. And like I said, the humor just doesn't really hold up. There's better movies from this time frame or any time frame to watch than this.
So Richard, you suggest to Road Trip?
Yeah, it's just slight yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so Road Trip is going to make the
All right,
list.
I'll give it.
And JPO, we're going to go back to you. What is the next movie?
Yes, thank you. So you said it counts, so I'm gonna go for it. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think it's a super easily watchable comedy in a great way, like because you'll have fun with it each and every time. He's got a fun cameo as the hippie who Jay and Bob need to get out of that van, and he's funny.
Yeah.
He's also it's a memorable cameo, and it's just a great movie, man. Really, like it's easily something you could watch like every few months and really dig. So Jay and Bob.
Jordan, what do you say about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yeah, so normally I maybe would lean to not saying yes because of the fact that just a cameo. He's not really in it that much, but like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is just a banger. That movie is awesome, and his cameo is funny, and I think it works. And yeah, so I'm actually gonna say yes to this. This is one I even forgot to even stick on my list, but when I think about it, yeah, it's a yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
I think it's garbage that this movie qualifies as a Sean William Scott movie. Because I completely forgot he was in the movie until it came up in the chat. I don't think his cameo is that memorable. It's so minuscule, and in a movie with however many people, because Will Ferrell's a huge part of the movie. He's some of the funniest jokes in the movie. And he gets buried under a whole lot of stuff. It did ultimately make my list, though, but incredibly low on my list. So I'm saying yes, but in protest.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, like just a little bit of side. As I said in the chat, like I was using like, even though it's not the most reliable source, like for whatever reason, whoever edited the Wikipedia pages didn't put cameo beside Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Like, there's only about 3 movies that had the word cameo beside, which I kind of said no to that already. But look, I like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but this is one that like, which on my personal Sean Scott movies, because I rank by movies, not so much by how long often if it's a insert actor here movie in there. I just rank that based on the movies. This would be my number one, but unfortunately it's not really a memorable cameo. I don't really remember it that much, so I'm going to say no to it. But Richie, what do you say about Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
I mean, I disagree with you and Alejandro that it's not a memorable cameo. I think it's one of the memorable cameos in the movie. No, I mean, the JPO was polite about it, but I don't think there's a rating here. Sheep fucker. Yeah. So I think it's one of the funny parts of the movie, and I think it's fun. So yeah, like it counts. I would say yes.
But that it does make the list. And we go over to Alejandro. What is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Well, fuck, I have the setup. I might as well go for it. I put a movie on my list that doesn't qualify. Jackass 3D. I think Sean William Scott gives exactly the same amount of impact in that movie as he does in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think of George Carlin and Carrie Fisher before I think of Sean William Scott. I don't even remember that the dude was in the movie, but I do remember that he was in Jackass 3D. And again, very limited input, but he was there. And I think that's exactly the same as Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So once again, in protest, Jackass 3D.
I'm just going to do it this way to get it out the way, because I did say it doesn't count. Anyone going to say yes to this?
No.
I don't even remember.
And no, and like literally, not trying to be mean, but like you should literally not even let him. Like you straight up said no. So like now all of a sudden we just say fuck the host. Like no.
Yeah.
No. Well, it was about the reason I did it. The reason I did it that way. Alejandro, I'll get you to pick something else.
I will actually go ahead and take the L on that one. Like, my 4 of my top 5 have already made the list, so I'm not going to be upset that this one didn't go. If I'll take the forfeit on this round, because I didn't think it was actually going to get in, but I do think that he has the exact same amount of screen time as he does in Jay and Silent Bob.
Well, look, I mean, it's one of those ones. I don't. For whatever, as I said, I was only going by sort of what I was reading. Like some of these, I forgot how little he was in the movie. But it's bit like I haven't seen James Bond so Bob in a while. So, but yeah. Anyway, go get on big on track here. I'm going for my next nomination. I'm going to bring up American Pie 2. I think this is probably the best American Pie movie out of the bunch, and I think Sean William Scott is great in this, like especially that scene in which the person just pissing off the balcony and he's just lying there drinking. It's just a lot of fun. But Richie, what do you say about American Pie 2?
Yeah, I think my dog is having a dream about American Pie 2, which is that'd be a weird dream to have for a dog. Anyway,
running on the beach, you're on that little beach house.
Yeah. How did you get it so? Well, anyway, yeah, no, it definitely was my favorite. And I think you get more. Yeah, I think this is where he kind of shines. This like the scene I just mentioned with with John Cho and with his friend pissing on him. The lesbian thing. I'm touching his ass. I'm touching his ass. But I really like American Pie 2. So yeah, I would say yes.
JPO, what do you say about American Pie 2?
I don't mind it going through for sure. I can see it probably might go in that way, but I'm gonna say no just because I like the first one better, and I do think I personally wouldn't close the list with a bunch of sequels. We already have one out there, but I can get why if it makes it.
But Jordan, what do you say about American Pie 2?
So I think in this case, I mean, he doesn't have a huge filmography, so I think having 2 on the list would actually be worth it. And I do have American Pie 2 on my personal list and also American Pie 1. So I do think that the original is the best one. It's kind of like like them at home in their own neighborhood, their own element kind of thing, where it feels like almost more personal, sort of. But this one's it still is great. It's a lot of fun. So and it's where Stifler, yeah, he does get a lot more time to shine in this one. So yeah, I'll say yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about American Pie 2?
You remember when I said that 2 American Pie movies feature Sean William Scott really well? This was one of them. Absolutely. It didn't make my list because I think there's one that does it better, but I think I'm smoking the wrong kind of weed because I definitely think American Pie 2 is better than American Pie, the first one, by like a lot. This is kind of a luck of the draw thing because I only have 2 more movies on my list. It looks like we have 9, so I do need to add one more. So I'm going to say yes to American Pie 2.
American Pie 2 does make the list. And I'm not sure who Poker Gambit is, but American Pie movies are not half his filmography. It's still got about 50 other movies.
Oh yeah, still not a ton.
But Richie, what is your next nomination?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for bringing this up now, but I feel like this is the one I was going to bring up because it's one where the character goes for a full arc. You can say no because I've got too many on the list, but I was going to go American Reunion because that's where that's where his character Stifler goes through this like sort of whole like human maturity, and the other characters realize how much he actually means to them, and then he has this full on arc about him, and so I think and they use the character quite well. So we'll see where it goes, but I was going to American Reunion.
JPO, what do you say about American Reunion?
Same as I said before, but even more so now. Like we got 2. He's got other things that belong in this list, so no.
Jordan, what do you say about American Reunion?
I mean, it's probably I have it just borderline. I have it like number 14 on my list, and I do really like it. I think that it's fun seeing them get back together after all that time apart, and there's even rumors we might get another one. So who knows? But yeah, I feel like 1 and 2 can represent it good. So yeah, I'll say no.
I feel like we're definitely gonna get another one. Like the obvious pitch is now, Jim's kid.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Alejandro, what do you say about American Pie Reunion?
Full disclosure, didn't see the movie. There are actually a lot of legacy sequels that I haven't checked out yet, but this one was just one that I really have no interest in. I thought it was weird to do an American Pie movie after so many years for virtually no reason. I don't know. It just didn't hold any interest in me, so I didn't see it. No.
I mean, there was a reason. Jason Biggs and Sean Scott wasn't really doing anything at this time. So look,
no.
I mean, Jason Biggs was on the Turtle Show, wasn't he?
I mean, as I said, he may have been doing stuff, but nothing really mind blowing. Like,
yeah, right.
It's like it's been not a lot of the actors out of the American Pie movies actually went on to sort of have big careers.
Only like Natasha Lyonne.
A couple years she's been hot.
Yeah,
no, I can't remember.
And maybe John Cho, if you count him.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah. Look,
Stifler's mom is having a good moment.
Jennifer Coolidge is good. They're all having good careers ages after. Like
and Levy had a good decade.
Eugene Levy is still doing stuff, but he was already famous.
Well, I mean, although in saying that, like, I think Eugene Levy's kind of slowing down a little bit because now that Schitt's Creek's finished.
Schitt's Creek is done, so what next?
Yeah, I would have suggested American Reunion. I mean, it's one of those ones yes, like I get JPO's point about not getting too much of the same franchise on, but that being said, looking at what else I've seen that was on the list, like there's really not a lot that's not going to be classed as a cameo that that could make the list, but it is what it is. American reunion is not going to make this list. Jordan, JPO, we go to you.
I know what Jordan's going to bring up.
No, you don't. Don't you ever try to predict me. Wait, say it, Richard.
You're going to bring up Southland Tales eventually, aren't you?
Not yet, but let's see if we get there. No, I'm going to bring up a nice small film. It's him and John C. Reilly, and they're both going for the same promotion.
Yeah, cool.
Good. Hopefully there's a third person that's seen this fucking movie. So yeah, this is nice. It's a smaller movie here, but again, I love these two actors here, and I think even like Riley's a little bit of the bigger character here, again a little more understated. Sean William Scott, but he's really good in it. It has its charming moments, and yeah, the promotion.
Jordan, what do you say about the promotion?
Yeah, like that was actually one I was going to bring up. I actually really dig the promotion. I think that it's fun. Like it's just fun kind of seeing them kind of go neck or like at each other's throats for this promotion. And it's got some fun little cameos in there with like Jason Bateman pops up, Jenna Fisher's in it. Probably more than a cameo for her, but and then like Fred Armisen and stuff. So yeah, and it's been a minute since I've seen it, but I remember that I had a lot of fun with it. I probably should rewatch it. So yeah, so yes.
Alejandro, what do you say about the promotion?
I'm a broken record over here, man. Haven't seen the movie, but browsing the filmography, it did pique my interest. I love John C. Reilly. Like that, Walk Hard is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think Separate is overrated, but that's besides the point. Sean William Scott, like I said, plays like buddy films really, really well. So those two guys doing a film together, I'm interested, but having not seen it, I can't say yes.
I hadn't even heard of this movie until I started putting the list together on Letterboxd. I tried to find it, just couldn't. I haven't seen it either. Richie, what do you say about the promotion?
Yeah, I've seen this movie a couple of times. Actually, it's a nice little film. I like it. It's and yeah, I think Sean William Scott and John C. Reilly have good chemistry. I honestly just didn't bring it up till I would have bring it up later because I didn't know many people would have seen it. So I was worried that not many people would have seen it. So you pleasantly surprised me, JPO. That was good. So I'm glad. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say yes.
But that the promotion does make the list because enough people have seen it on this panel. Jordan, what do you say about the promotion?
Okay, so
no. What's your next nomination?
The promotion is great. I say yes again. Yeah. So I'm trying to remember if he has a bigger role. But I want to bring up Old School. Like that's more than a cameo, right? Or is that a cameo?
I mean, you can bring it up if you want. You can leave it typecast aside, but
yeah. I mean, yeah. I just think that it's one of the better ones when you look at what we have left on his filmography. He's not in it a ton but I think that it's good enough. It's funny enough. Like I think, like Old School it does have a bit of a cult following in some circles. So, yeah. So I will advocate for Old School.
Alejandro, what do you say about Old School?
Needle Scratch. Haven't seen the movie. It's one of those movies that people hype a whole lot, and I'm a guy who doesn't think Will Ferrell is all that funny. So I don't know if I'll ever actually check out this movie, but again, having not seen the movie, can't say yes.
He's good in it. He just goes around screaming, and that's for me like the best thing Will Ferrell does.
Yeah. I don't remember how much he's in the movie. Like for me personally, like my definition of cameo is more they edit briefly, like for about a 1 minute appearance, and you don't see them again. Like I know he's in it for at least longer than that in here, because it's it's the whole dart to the next scene. I remember that much, but
no, like, that's what it is, and he has the mullet and all that. Yeah.
But I do like the movie. I kind of don't like Sean William Scott in the movie, ironically, so I'm going to actually go no on this. Richie, what do you say about Old School?
I thought you were gonna go. I kind of don't like Sean William Scott. I'm like, why are we doing this topic then? But yeah, no, I think he's enough, and he's decent, and the movie's good, and yeah, like we're getting down to the point where like there's not much, a lot. There's like one small film I'd probably bring up, which I don't know many people have seen, and yeah, I'd probably so. I would say yes, just because overall the movie's good and he's enough and he's all right. So I would say yes.
JPO, what do you say about Old School?
No, I was going to say no for a couple of reasons. I know I'm the guy to nominate Jay and Bob, but he's not in it much. I don't think the movie's as good as Jay and Bob or some of the other ones I want to talk about. I think there's more stuff I would like to push on this list, so no.
But if that Old School doesn't make the list, Alejandro, we go back to you.
All right,
we go through the whole thing. We don't have enough. We don't get 12.
I was going to say, it was really hard to put a list of 12 together, and 2 of the ones that did make the list I haven't seen. So the last 2 that I have, I really don't know what kind of a chance they have, but going with the one that actually does stand a chance, the American Pie movie that I chose as Sean William Scott's best movie is American Wedding by like a lot. Sean William Scott specifically gets so much to do and specifically becomes such a well-developed character with the whole dancing background, with his involvement of wanting to be in the wedding, kind of encapsulating, like, even though he's a complete asshole in the first 2 movies, he still loves his friends and wants to be recognized as part of the group. So I think Stifler is great in the movie. I think the movie as a whole is a fun watch, and I think it's arguably the best American Pie movie. So American Wedding is what I'm nominating for this one.
Yeah, I do love American Wedding. I do think it's good. Just looking at what I've got left to nominate, I think there's one more I want to actually do a shot, give a shot that I probably should have done earlier, but never mind. I'm going to go a slight no to American Wedding. Richie, what do you say about American Wedding?
It's tough because it's like, yeah, I get what Alejandro is saying. There's only maybe a couple more where I'm like, okay, one I don't feel that people would have seen. The other, there's another one where it's like, oh yeah,
Richie, I surprised you before I can surprise you again. Yeah. Maybe we're talking about the same movie. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I'm hoping.
Maybe. I don't know if we are or not. I'll go a slight no.
JPO, what do you say about American Wedding?
What do you think I'm gonna say? No, it is a fun flick, but yeah, I think there's other things I want to push, so no.
Jordan, what do you say about American Wedding?
Well, I think all the American Pie movies are good. That's what makes it tough because, yeah, there's not a lot of other movies. There may be like one other movie that I really care all that much to really even bring up. But, I mean, just because of that. And how many movies do we have on the list so far?
11.
We've got one spot left. So
only have one spot left. Then for that, I've got to say no. If we had a few more spots left, maybe. But
yeah, well, that's the thing. If we had more spots left, I probably would have said yes.
Yeah.
It goes on to me. So I'm going to bring this one up. I know like a lot of this franchise has kind of fell off the ice, so to speak. I'm bringing up Ice Age 2: The Meltdown. So I do think it is a really good, and it's one of the few animated movies that Sean William Scott did do. Look, I think Sean William Scott's character is the two. I don't even remember what animals. I think they're lemurs or something like that.
Yeah, quite memorable role, evidently.
Well, I do remember as well. I just can't remember what animal he is.
He's an otter. He's an otter.
Yeah.
And his name's Crash. He's on the Bandicoot. That is Less.
But yeah, I think like he's really good in the movie, and I think the movie itself is probably one of the better movies in the Ice Age franchise. Maybe even arguably the best one. But Richie, what do you say about Ice Age 2: The Meltdown?
Damn it, it's decent. I don't really remember him that much in the movie, but it's hard with the voice characters. He has another voice role which is not as memorable either. I don't know. Probably more memorable than that. This is probably more memorable than the other one that I don't even know how to bring up. But and then the other thing I'd bring up is like not even convinced that people have seen. I'm really not. I know you, but then I got to rely on other people. Okay, I'm gonna see if someone else has seen this because I might be, but I'll say a slight no, and we'll see what happens.
JPO, what do you say about Ice Age 2?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say no. I don't necessarily remember him that much in it. It's an okay franchise and it's an okay sequel, and yeah, I'd rather get something that he's physically in.
Jordan, what do you say about Ice Age 2?
So I do think that's one of the better Ice Age movies as far as an Ice Age movie goes, and I actually really like the first two a lot, and I think he's pretty good in it. But just I don't know, I don't think though that's good enough to be a top 12 for me though. So I probably got to say no.
Alejandro, what do you say about Ice Age 2?
I take issue with JPO saying that he has to physically be in the movie. Voice acting is 1,000 times harder than actually being in the room, especially.
I wouldn't call it harder, but I would definitely say like I just don't think he's memorable enough. Like, give me something where he's like a lead, and I remember. Sure,
I agree with Malcolm that this is probably the one movie in this franchise that he has the most to do in. I would have said yes.
The only one he's in, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's an introduction.
No, he's in a couple of them.
His character is in all the other Ice Age movies.
Right. He has the most to do in this movie.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I can see it being one of his top 12 movies, especially again from a franchise that still keeps making movies because people still want to see him. Even though I think the second one was probably the last good one.
And actually, I think we're not getting any more Ice Age movies. Blue Skies at an end, and whether or not Disney does anything with it. Yeah. But Richie, we go to you. What is your next nomination?
All right, I'll bring this up, but I don't know if anyone else has seen it. But it's charming enough. Like I don't know. And that the title isn't right. There's a little small movie about him dealing with like mental illness called Trainwreck. My Life is an Idiot. It's got him and Gretchen Mol, and I'm not a huge fan of the title necessarily. It's got a whole bunch of titles. Look, it says if you go to Wikipedia, it says Trainwreck. My Life is an Idiot, also known as also known as Trainwreck. My Life is an Idiot. And An American Loser. So both not great. But yeah. And it says the poster's just like him in a straight jacket, like holding a microphone, like maybe doing stand-up or something. It's written by that comedian Jeff Nichols. I think it has a lot of heart to it. I think him and Gretchen Mol have good chemistry. I just had to bring it up because it's just a very small movie. Don't know many people have seen it, but I don't know if this is what maybe I asked JP. I was thinking, but I don't know. We'll see if anyone's seen it. I feel like they probably haven't, but we'll see that. Trainwreck. We'll just put it that way.
But JPO, what do you say about Trainwreck, My Life as an Idiot, or American Loser as it's known in some other places?
Hey Richie. Yeah. You were right. I didn't see this movie. We're not talking about the same movie, so I'm gonna have to give it a notes because I did not see this movie. But I am intrigued based off what you said.
Jordan, what do you say about Trainwreck, My Life as an Idiot?
So I've never heard of this until just this moment. I didn't know this was a thing, but so it looks like he's doing stand-up comedy or something. I don't know, but who knows? He does have that straight jacket on. But so yeah, I haven't seen it, so I gotta say no.
Well, so going, it's not Trainwreck. Like that's not the Amy Schumer movie.
Oh yeah,
it's called
might actually
Trainwreck: My
be a
Life as an
yes.
Idiot,
He was
or
in
as
that.
it's known in other places, American Loser, which is a very different post.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
That
Alejandro,
is a CGI job if I ever could tell. Damn.
Yeah.
but Alejandro, have you seen Trainwreck: My Life as an Idiot? Or
I was gonna say I wanted to thank Richie because I was about to say we can just get to the point where we can skip me because I haven't seen a lot of these movies. But being that nobody else has either, I absolutely I never heard of it. I did see it on the filmography as American Loser though.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the
Yeah.
same thing. The American
yeah,
Loser?
it's the same thing.
Yeah, 'cause
It's the
completely
same movie.
posted. That other one looks like a weird comedy.
It's the same movie. The fifth time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why they just didn't call it the title of the book that it's based on, the little yellow bus.
Yeah.
That's a horrible title. I ain't seen that movie.
No.
But JPO, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
All right, this is the movie I thought maybe Richard was saying because I think this is one of the most opposite performances you've ever seen Sean William Scott given. Bloodline. He is a serial killer, almost Dexter-like style, who kind of kills for a certain reason here. He's hiding it from his wife. There's some great little twists in this here. It is a different performance than you've ever seen him give, and he gives a really good one too. So, Bloodline. He's a serial killer. It's cool. Just say yes if you haven't seen it. I don't know.
Jordan, have you seen Bloodline?
Yeah, you literally stole my next pick because
Yes.
Bloodline's great. It's a more recent movie from him, but I think essentially he's like some kind of like trauma counselor for kids, and he takes revenge on the people that abused him. So in kind of like a Dexter style. Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool performance. Like something totally different. I always love when a comedian gets a chance to try their hand at something dramatic because usually it seems to work out. Actually, so yeah, I'll go with a yes for that one.
Alejandro, have you seen Bloodline?
Shockingly, I have not seen Bloodline. I did want to say I agree with Jordan. Comedians in horror is a surprisingly good formula. Like Matthew Lillard kills it in every horror movie that he's in. Genuinely funny comedian. And also Chris Kattan in House on Haunted Hill. Very strong performance in my opinion. But ultimately, didn't see the movie. Can't say yes.
But yeah, I think I would have remembered if they had made a movie about Roman Reigns and the Usos and all that.
Acknowledge it.
But I haven't seen it. It sounds interesting. Is this going to be the first time we actually mention every Sean William Scott movie? We have no honorable mentions.
God.
Who knows? Richie, what do you say about Bloodline?
You're muted.
I have actually, okay, I forgot about this, but I have seen this. There you go. It was almost just like an audition tape for Wrath of Beck. So woman, you could say. So yeah, you know what? I think we need more eclectic stuff on here. So I'd say yes. There you go.
All right, so I don't have to go with the sequel to
And
Goon.
then-
That was going to be my next pick, the sequel to Goon.
Oh,
Well,
true.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have.
At that point, I would have said yes.
Yeah.
Well, with that, it brings us to the end of this. Jordan, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. Well, that was one. Goon, the Last of the Enforcers, is definitely one because I think that it's like almost on par with the first one, and maybe not quite, but it's like really close though. So, and that may only be the only one. I mean, he has a funny little cameo in Super Troopers too. which is like actually one of the better parts of that movie because the movies are all right. But and that's probably it. I don't really have anything else. So
Alejandro, did you have any honorable mentions?
Actually, yeah, I was on the same train that you were on, Malcolm. I wanted to go with an Ice Age movie, but I went with Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I think that one is the most enjoyable. It's just a fun time without having to be like. It's different enough from the first movie. Like the problem with the second movie is it's trying to do the same thing and it can't. The third movie kind of goes in its own direction. I think Sean William Scott is actually very, very entertaining in that movie. But I agree with you about what you said about the second movie. That one has a lot more for him to do. So I can definitely see that one going into number 12.
Yeah, so for me, the only movies I had seen that was left, like aside from the Ice Age movies, like Planet 51 is the other animated movie that she was alluding to, and then I was really close to nominating Cop Out, which isn't a good movie, but at the moment we were going on, it was going to be the last one to talk about.
What else are we going to do?
JPO, did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, the three I would have maybe thrown out. I would have said Southland Tales. And all three of the ones I'm about to mention are kind of messy, but there's moments of there's moments of brilliance. Like I love the casting, Timberlake, Sarah Michelle Gellar, The Rock, John Lovitz, SNL people as like villains. It's an interesting, worthwhile watch. I also would have thrown out Cop Out. I think the chemistry between those three is kind of the best part of the movie here. I enjoy when they're kind of together, him, Morgan, and Bruce. And then finally, another one that's kind of a mixed bag. Just Before I Go, which is actually directed by Courtney Cox, which is another one where he's basically thinking about his suicide, about committing suicide, but first he's gonna go and like avenge himself by like going to all the different people that have wronged him throughout his life. And it's another one where like it's kind of handled a little weirdly, but he's really good in it, and again shows moments of what it could have been. I think maybe with a rewrite a little bit. So those are the three that kind of come to my mind.
Yeah, the trailers looked interesting. I watched the trailer.
Yeah, it's still kind of worth watching. Yeah.
But with that being said, some of the ones, I think there's only one in the comments that hasn't really been mentioned yet. I think the others have been mentioned, but Leo brings up Stark Raving Mad.
Yeah, I've seen that title. I don't know what that is. Looks like another actiony one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I looked up Sean William Scott's filmography, I was surprised about how much more he's been in than I actually knew it. But now it's time for the fun part of actually ranking this. And how we rank is, white on a whiteboard on what we want at number 12. And
can you give me a second?
Yeah,
sorry, just gonna get my whiteboard.
Act like you've been here before, Richie.
I have. I've been here heaps of times. I'm a valued member of the community.
But JPO, what do you have for 12?
Road Trip.
Hang on.
Jordan.
I'm a little bit behind. Sorry. I don't even know. They're all kind of like similar level. Let's just go. I'll just say American Pie 2. I don't know.
Alejandro, what do you have for 12?
For number 12, I actually went with Bloodline. My last three are going to be ones I haven't seen.
For me, just because it is a really small role, I did put Jay and Silent Bob. Richie, what do you have for 12?
I got Road Trip.
Yeah.
Road Trip is going to be at 12.
Jordan, keep your answer.
Oh well. Maybe.
Do it.
But Jordan, what do you have at 11?
So I actually switched it. I put Bulletproof
Son of a
Monk.
bitch.
And Poker, it doesn't matter. Like he can say, "I'm not going. It's not trivia. I don't need to question if he's cheating
Sounds on
or
screen.
not."
Yeah, right.
But Alejandro, what do you have for 11?
Number 11, I actually have Goon.
No.
Fuck no.
Once again,
See, I haven't seen the movie.
No, I
know.
understand your logic now. I'm not.
I
I
put James on Bob. Richie.
Hang on. Red butter.
And JPO.
I mean, resketching his back so far. American Pie 2.
If that American Pie 2 is going to be at 11, that is very disrespectful.
Makes sense to me.
Absolutely disrespectful.
But Alejandro, what do you have at 10?
At number 10 to close out, I have the promotion.
Just because it's a cameo, James, not Bob. Richie.
The promotion.
JPO.
Promotion.
Holy shit.
Jordan.
I kept it with Bulletproof Monk.
The promotion is going to be at 10.
Yeah. Got your back, Richie. You read my mind? Do you agree on this one?
Oh,
I'm still sticking with James Silent Bob. Richie.
Hang on. I don't know if I'm reading your mind, but we'll see what happens.
I think you're
Bulletproof Monk.
You're writing too much.
Yeah.
Jordan. JPO.
Bloodline.
Jordan.
I have Bulletproof Monk.
Alejandro.
Hilariously circling back around, I have Bloodline.
He's absolutely in
So
the
it's-
dark now. Where'd you go?
That one was the last one on my list, number 12. So that one passed through, Goon passed through, and then the promotion actually got to number 10. That was weird. So circling back around.
But which means we've got a two-way type from Megan Bloodline. I was the only one that went different. The interesting thing is I haven't seen either of these movies. But just because I've already started writing it, I'm just going to continue it. And it is going to. But Richie, what do you want for 8?
Bloodline.
JPO.
Bloodline.
Jordan.
I have Bloodline. Yeah.
Alejandro.
Well, fuck it. I had Goon.
I put James Silent Bob up. It's going to be Bloodline.
Yeah.
That is way too low for Bulletproof Monk, by the way. Way too low.
Low. Back when they tried to make Chow Yun Fat a thing.
But JPO, what do you have for 7?
Dude, where's my car?
Jordan.
In America, they try to make him a thing. Chow Yun Fat's big in China, but Jane Silent Bob, I have.
Alejandro.
Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to get everything in order. I have American Pie.
Once again, just because it's cameo, James Silent Bob. Richie.
Jane Bob.
It's getting tricky.
James Silent Bob's right back is going to be at 7. But Jordan, what do you have for 6?
For 6, I have Dude, Where's My Car?
Alejandro.
For number 6, Goon.
Number 6, Dude, Where's My Car? Richie.
Dude, Where's My Car?
JPO.
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, Where's My Car is going to be at 6.
Dude, sweet.
But Alejandro, what do you have for 5?
I'm thinking of Goon.
I'm sticking with Goon.
Wait, what did he say? I didn't even understand what he said.
Goon.
He said Goon.
Oh, Goon. Okay. I just heard boo. No.
Richie.
American Pie.
JPO.
American Pie.
Jordan.
Final Destination.
So we've got Goon and American Pie. Jordan, you went different. Goon or American Pie at 5?
Oh, really? Those are like my 1 and 2. Let's go with American Pie. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was close.
I thought that one was your number 1.
I know. You just have some other good ones.
American Pie is going to be 5. Richie, what do you have for 4?
Role models.
And role models. JPO.
Role models.
Jordan.
I wish he was in it a little more. Final Destination.
Alejandro.
I still have Goon ranked the lowest.
I still have Goon ranked the lowest.
Wow.
So Jordan.
For those who
Goon
have not seen it. Go on.
I've seen it. I'd still have it ranked the lowest.
Yeah. Oh.
Jordan, Goon, or role models at 4?
Role models.
We've got Goon, the rundown, and Final Destination left. Richie, what do you have for 3?
No. Final Destination.
JPO.
Jay and Bob.
No, that's already.
That one's gone.
Final Destination.
Jordan.
Final Destination.
Alejandro.
I think I'm starting to hate this movie. Goon.
Not when you see it, you won't.
I don't know. I've seen it and I hate it.
Well, you're Malcolm, so you're that type of thing.
Oh, Malcolm. So number 1.
But now instead of going for number 2, we're going straight to number 1. And we've got the rundown and Goon left. JPO, between the rundown and Goon, what do you have at number 1?
Thunder and Lightning, rundown.
Jordan, what do you have at number 1?
Number 1, I've got Goon.
Alejandro, what do you have at number 1?
Why even ask me? It's the rundown at number 1.
I'm doing formalities.
Yeah, right.
The rundown. Richie.
Welcome to the Jungle Rundown.
Ah.
Thank you, Christ.
See Goon before you judge it.
I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah.
We know, she didn't see it. Your responses are weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, like, it's why when I haven't seen a movie, I generally, for me, when I'm doing the voting, I ignore it unless I really need to vote for it.
No, for sure.
But with that being said, out the top 12 Sean Scott movies, we've got, at number 12, we've got Road Trip. At 11, we've got American Pie 2. At 10, we got The Promotion. At 9, we got Bulletproof Monk. At 8, we got Bloodline. At 7, we got Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. At 6, we got Dude, Where's My Car? At 5, we got American Pie. At 4, we got Role Models. At 3, we got Final Destination. At 2, we got Goon. And number 1, we got The Rundown, aka Welcome to the Jungle.
There you go.
But
Nice.
with that being said, that is the end of ranking for tonight. Next week's episode is going to be, once I get the poll up, but even though I'm pretty sure nothing's changed on it, next week's episode is going to be the franchise ranking of the Spider-Man movies, because of Across the Spider-Verse, but yeah, JP, where can people find you online?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Malcolm, for hosting Rankum as always and having me. It's been a pleasure. Find me over at the Pierce Code channel. We do lots of wrestling movie trivia. We do some countdowns, some drafts, this, that, and the other. And then, speaking of wrestling, why I made that flub, at the Pierce Wrestling channel, we do some of the same stuff, wrestling trivia, as well as some exclusive matches, podcasts where we interview wrestlers and stuff like that. Thank you.
Jordan, where can people find you online?
Yeah. Thanks, Malcolm. Rankum's always a good time, no matter what the topic is, basically, for me. I mean, unless you're talking really, really old classic movies. I think I did say no to one once in a blue moon on old horror movies or something. But yeah, you can find me on all the social media at Movie Hero 2121 on Twitter and Instagram. I post a lot for the channel on my personal Instagram, so it's Jordan83616, and we also run the Schmodown Friends and Family group on Facebook, so you can find us. We're pretty active over there. If you have any kind of a website that you run, or a YouTube channel, or like any projects that you work on, you can post it over there. We'll share it out. We'll hype you up. We're just a big community over there. So yeah, you can do that. And I'll just talk about the next couple of things we have coming up. So this Tuesday we'll be finally getting to, for tournament fights, we'll be getting to best movies of 2012 championship. So we did a 3-parter on that one, and so it's only going to be a half bracket for that with the top 32 movies making it. And then on Friday this Wednesday, actually, I want to say, because we're gonna have Richie on this Wednesday for our first episode of the Wheel of Movies, where we took all of our regulars and people that are partners in the channel. We put all our favorite movies into a big giant wheel, and we spun it. And then at least once or maybe twice a month, we'll do a 1-hour deep dive on whatever movie pops up. So it's fitting that it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, because we got a new indie movie coming up, and also it'll be Richie watching it for the first time and giving us his thoughts. So that'll be fun. And then on Friday we have something kind of related to that. We're doing a Movie Hero Mystery Tournament where we take the same wheel of movies, but we spin it 64 times. We even had a little pre-show that you can see on our channel where like, it was like our selection show where the first 64 movies to pop up will be the ones in the tournament. So it'll be tough because it's everybody's favorite movies going head to head. It might be one of the toughest brackets we've ever had. So yeah, that'll be Friday. So that's where you can find me.
Alejandro, where can people find you online?
Oh, I mean, y'all can check out my YouTube channel, alejandro.h.official on YouTube. Check out some of my musical covers, my acoustic covers, and so forth. You can keep up with my live performances on Facebook, the Alejandro Hernandez on Facebook, or the Alejandro on Twitter, on Twitch, if that's still a platform that people are using. And Malcolm, I do want to say thanks for having me on. I know I'm kind of the wrench in the machine when I'm on these Rankum episodes, but I really do enjoy this. Like the entire concept of having differing opinions is the reason we have these conversations in the first place. Me and JPO had a great conversation just last night talking movies, and it's always fun hanging out, homie. Richie, same to you, brother. Like it's just always fun to talk it out and to kind of vent, because ultimately, doesn't matter. It's all opinion based. Like I might go watch Goon and shit on the movie, but it'll be justified having to sit through this.
Yeah, well, a wrench is a great tool to have in your tool set, so we don't mind a wrench. So,
but Richie, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Movie Hero Network at Tier Ranker Tournament Fights, and yeah, like Jordan mentioned, I'll be on the wheel, movies episode talking Raiders, The Lost Ark. Yeah, haven't seen it, so I'll be watching that. So yeah, I'll be on Lonely Marks. You can rest of the podcast with JPO, Jacob Barber, and Austin Pez Howe, where we will be doing a kind of a debate. It was JPO's idea. We're doing a bit of a debate, so that'd be fun. And yeah, Combat Wrestling Trivia coming out soon as well. Check that out. Our Tubi podcast on their streaming. I think the next episode should be coming out in a couple of days. Fart the movie, because why not? Yeah. I watch these stupid movies, so you don't have to. But so check that review out. We put ourselves through pain, so you don't have to. So check that out on YouTube every Tuesday. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can find me on Take the Reductions, or host Rankum. Every Sunday next week we're doing the ranking of the Spider-Man movies. You can also find me hosting trivia over on Full Metal. The tournament started recording some of the tournament matches. The first match should be dropping next month. But yeah. But from all of us here, and until next time, just keep watching movies, and yeah.
And thanks to you, that's over now, and you've ruined that for me.